Hi there. Huge spy photos just came out for House of the Dragon from their filming in Cornwall. Our first really good look at young Rhaenyra Targaryen and young Laenor Velaryon. These photos are amazing because they're not fan-made spy photos. This is from Daily Mail UK, and just looking at this, they must have had a spy drone. A professional spy drone with a high-quality camera on it. The angles of it aren't from the landward side. You can tell the only way they could have gotten this is from if they were on the beach with a drone nearby. You can see the actors reacting to the drone. They're looking at it. I wonder if they're striking poses for it. And it's just high quality image of Rhaenyra, young Rhaenyra, in actual finery. Last week, if you're watching my channel, we briefly saw her. It was mostly a spy photo about young Alicent, played by Emily Carey. And we got a decent look at young Alicent in that because she was facing the camera. It was a little blurry, but we could make out her costume when they were filming in Northern England. That wasn't in Cornwall. And young Rhaenyra was there too, Millie Alcock, but she wasn't facing the camera, and other points she was too far away, so it was really a fuzzy image. You really didn't see that much. But if you watched my prior video, I said she's probably just wearing a simple riding outfit, because we can see there's a green screen she's dismounting from her dragon. I also said, for that matter, Alicent probably isn't wearing finery either. She's been in a wheelhouse on a days-long journey. She's wearing traveling clothes. I mean, we have images in our heads, iconic images of, like, Cersei wearing what she wears at the royal court, but then, remember, there's other scenes where she's just in her private chambers and threw something simple on. Or when characters go riding, even the male characters, there's a difference between a simple riding coat and what you would wear as finery at the royal court or for a wedding or something. There's gradations of that. So I saw a handful of people on Twitter going, ugh, young Rhaenyra's outfit in those spy photos from last week looks so bad, and they're so blurry you couldn't even see them. They're probably well made, befitting a princess, but dude, it's a riding coat. It's not meant to look nice. And either way, it was too fuzzy then, but this is our first really good look at young Rhaenyra with Millie Alcock. Millie Alcock, she's young. She's actually an Australian actress. There haven't been many Australian actors on this show, in this franchise. She's not the first one. Like the lady that played the Cersei actress in Bravos, Lady Crane, she's an Australian actress, but I don't know her that well in the States, but apparently Millie just filmed 2 really big TV shows in Australia. So tell me in the comments if you're from Australia and you know who Millie Alcock is. She's well known in Australia, just not internationally yet. So she was cast in this. And the thing that jumps out now, looking at her full gown, that wearing finery, this is what her classic at royal court would be like costume. Thing that jumps out is this looks nothing like what the adult Rhaenyra wore in the promo pics they put out with Emma Darcy. It's nothing alike, where it was a high V-necked collar to her gown. Here, it's not squared to the shoulders like in Tudor style. The shoulders are bare, and there's these bold, open sleeves. I mean, they're held on by cuffs at the wrist, but otherwise it's really open. And it's bold red. It's not even black. That Rhaenyra, infamously, she wears Targaryen black from their heraldry, and we saw that with adult Rhaenyra, and she had like maroons and purples in the layers of clothing underneath, as it's described in the books that way. But this is Targaryen red. She's not even wearing the same colors. The outfit's entirely different. And really, if you saw my first video, this is a continuation of that. I was talking about this. I think they're doing this on purpose to show the evolution of characters into what will become their classic look. Clapton did this on Game of Thrones, where what Cersei wears in season 1 wasn't really what we consider classic Cersei by season 2 or 3. She didn't wear Lannister red in season 1. They wanted to show her hiding that as long as Robert was alive. Or Marjorie Tyrell, what we consider her iconic look, came in season 3. And Clapton said, I wanted her to experiment around with a couple of costume ideas in season 2, because she's a new young queen, before hitting on, okay, this is my iconic look. Planned all of that out in advance, or even Daenerys, similarly, what we think of as her blue riding outfit, that came in season 3, and was the result of various influences. You could see it progressing through stages to that. So, like with the Alicent video last week, I explained, oh, look, she's not wearing really dark greens that seem threatening like adult Alicent. It's soft greens, almost teal. They're going to grow into that. Or that her neckline wasn't the same. Adult Alicent had a squared Tudor neckline. Young Alicent, I said it was simple, circular, shallow. But I said, I'm not sure if that's just because this is a simple riding outfit, or if it's because they're going to show her evolving into the classic adult Alicent look. So you see, as an extension of that now we get to see young Rhaenyra, not quite yet grown into her iconic look, but there's hints of it. It's great. We can see front and back on this that her hair isn't braided yet, but it's starting to be. I said this last week. It was a very blurry photo, but we could see, wow, she's wearing her hair loose and long, but there's a tiny plait in the back that you can tell this is going to evolve into, that she braids her hair and coils it in the back of her head, because that's what Visenya did, that she wears war braids like that. Here we get a very clear look at that from behind, that it's not just a little plait, that she's got long hair, but there's this tiny circular braid coiled back there. And we'll see that evolve over time. So great stuff, little hints that they're moving towards that. As for why is she wearing something this, I wouldn't say revealing, but it's bare shoulders and the sleeves are open, and how different this is stylistically, that I said in the previous video, Alicent and Rhaenyra are wearing a mishmash of late medieval and Reformation era designs. And this isn't quite like that for England. I've said this with the Velaryons, that there was variation in Europe, so that, like, the warm countries of southern Europe, like Italy and Spain, women weren't as likely to wear big hats. They'd braid their hair to keep it off of their neck because, it's hot. I am not an expert. I'd have to look for this. I'm trying to get this video out right now, but I think that, like, in like Sicily or Spain or something, in really warm regions, I think women may have worn loose sleeves like this, where they're open and just tied together like that. When it's really hot, you do that as a heat thing. And I've said that I think they're treating Dragonstone and Driftmark as these really warm island locations. They say Driftmark is really pleasant. It's like their Caribbean. There in the Stepstones, it's this warm, temperate island. So when we saw Velaryon handmaids and stuff, their hair was braided, their clothes looked a little loose. So I'm wondering if her costume is cut so loose like this because they're emphasizing how warm Driftmark is. Maybe. Because this might be a Reformation era thing, but from like southern Italy. I'd have to check. But even the cut of it, the shoulders are, is that a thing from southern Italy? I have to see on that. But this is so different from the look that Rhaenyra will evolve into, where she wears high V-necks. That is interesting. But why is it different? Well, they did that on purpose to contrast older and younger Rhaenyra. That they're going to show that, we saw fashions evolving on Game of Thrones between seasons 2 and 3. Now we're going to see that, when we have a 10-year time jump between teenage Rhaenyra and late 20s Rhaenyra, maybe fashions would change over those 10 years. And in the Middle Ages, fashions didn't change that quickly. It's not like technology was the way we are changing that much, but, fashion could change relatively quickly because it's just a matter of personal preference. I mean, not in like the 1100s, but when you get to the Tudor era, the 1500s, they can time out. This is what 1510s looked like versus 1530s in England. Because 1530s is when Anne Boleyn showed up at the royal court and changed everything. So I think they're contrasting the early reign of Rhaenyra's father with the late reign of his father, that fashions will change over time. And this is an even better quality pick than we got of what Alicent was wearing. And like I said, even Alicent's thing might have been a riding outfit. for a wheelhouse, a travel outfit. This is really her with Laenor at a get-together at a beach or something. This looks amazing, but where are they going with the design on this? I can't wait to pick the brain of the costume designer, read her first interviews on this. I like that they're putting a lot more jewelry in to show that this is a time of prosperity and stuff. They wear more jewelry than Clapton put on Game of Thrones. They had some jewelry on Game of Thrones. That Cersei wore jewelry like armor, like her necklace. Rhaenyra sort of has one of those there, but like I said before, we have earrings now, that kind of thing. If you zoom in, Rhaenyra has very prominent rings on her fingers. That's a character tick. It says in the books that when she's anxious about things or she's upset or if she's thinking, she just absentmindedly plays with the rings on her fingers. It's a little thing, but I'm looking forward to when we see her playing with the rings on her fingers. Not even like the camera focusing on it, just as a background detail. That'll be fun because it's one of the little notes we have about her. Because again, Fire and Blood is an outline. It's not a narrative. That you can have like a character in the A Song of Ice and Fire books could have a nervous tick. Like Stannis tends to grind his teeth a lot. Like the outline that we get in Fire and Blood doesn't mention a lot of character tics like that. Rhaenyra playing with her rings is one of the few we have of what are they like as a person in live being there with them. The big jewelry here, though, is the belt. Look at this stylized gold belt with these dragon designs on it. That's really good there. It's really interesting. So I don't have too much more to add about this. Just it's a really high quality photo of Millie Alcock as young Rhaenyra, and it's very different from adult Rhaenyra, probably because they're going to show her evolving into that. But this is guesswork at this point. So just I'm here admiring it. I'm sharing it with everyone. The thing is, it is Thursday now, and I was complaining, wow, we didn't get any spy photos Wednesday. They got so many spy photos at Daily Mail yesterday that it took them until this morning to load them all up. That there's turnover now, that now I have to deal with everything that came out today, Thursday, which was really from yesterday, plus all these other photos that came out for the Velaryons that actually were filmed by fan spy reporters. I've been talking about Millie Alcock. Of course, the big thing in here is we get our first look at Laenor Velaryon. For that matter, we didn't know who was playing him before, as a young man or as an adult. We still don't know who's playing him as an adult yet, but young Laenor, we can now confirm, is played by this actor Theo Nate. And I'm going to devote the next video to talking about him, not just these photos. We got other photos of his father and his soldiers in the Velaryon household nights. So I'm going to split that off rather than make a really big video so I can talk about Laenor in more detail. But we see who's playing him. He is Rhaenyra's second cousin, and they are forced into an arranged marriage, even though they don't love each other. They cast a more light-skinned mixed-race actor to play him because, again, his father is Corlys, who is black in the show, plus Eve Best's Rhaenys. So they cast someone who plausibly looks like the child of those two other actors. Which is good because I was worried, when they first said they were going to make Corlys black, I was worried, oh god, are you going to make Rhaenyra's sons look black in order to say, well, they're clearly not his sons? That makes no sense. That they're doing the logical thing, which actually fits pretty well. We've seen yesterday, I posted the spy photos of who we're pretty sure are Rhaenyra's sons. The plot point that they look nothing like Laenor because they look white with brown hair, and it's the whole, well, they look like Rhaenyra's maternal grandfather, okay, but they could look like their maternal grandfather, who's an Arryn. But this worked out. It's one of those silly things that when I first saw black actors Corlys, I thought, oh god, how is this going to affect the paternity subplot? Actually, it dovetails pretty well with the paternity subplot of, okay, Corlys' son looks mixed race. Corlys' grandson looks white but with brown hair. Does he look like Rhaenyra's Arryn grandfather? Or are they Harwin's strongest bastards? We're not really sure. Playing it ambiguous. So the thing I was worried about didn't happen, which is good. But next video, I'm going to talk about Laenor a lot more. We also saw some other characters from Laenor's storyline that will be in there in spy photos. I'm going to devote a whole thing to that separately from this. This is just celebrating, hooray, Millie Alcock as young Rhaenyra, our rightful queen.